Hello and welcome back from the weekend. It is Monday, June 17th, and I've got, another news episode packed full of news for you. First up, if you heard any of the stuff that we talked about with regards to Epic exclusive news that was coming out of E3, Shenmue 3 was on the list of one of those that basically originally was kickstarted or crowdfunded on Kickstarter in this case, with the expectation that it was going to be a Steam key. And then at the show they announced, it's going exclusive to the Epic Game Store. And a lot of people were really upset about that, which, understandably upset. So in a press release since E3, the developer on their Kickstarter update site has said, "Hello everyone, we want to make sure that the backers are aware we are listening to their concerns. We kindly ask all of our fans to have some patience. We are currently at E3, demonstrating the game, and need to get back to our respective offices to assess the situation and together find a way forward to justify the trust you placed in us. Thank you for your patience and support." So maybe they'll, they're obviously listening to the folks who have spoken out about it, and so maybe we'll get Steam keys for Kickstarter backers, or at least hopefully an option for that. But I guess time will tell. Unfortunately, some other bad news that's come out towards the end of E3 last week is that Amazon Game Studios has laid off a bunch of employees. I guess the silver lining to that cloud, if there is to be one, is that it sounds like they've given them about 60 days to look for new positions, and anyone who doesn't find new employment within that 60-day time frame, there's some kind of severance package that they can expect to receive. This sounds like this is due in part to them canceling some games that they hadn't even announced yet that were, I guess, maybe in some type of pre-production development. They're restructuring, or as they're saying, reorganizing things right now so that they can prioritize the development of things like New World and Crucible. They have a couple other, or I should say, a new unannounced project that they're excited to reveal in the future. Of course, they're not saying what that is just yet. But, this is apparently, at least according to them, and as we've seen many times, normal restructuring and letting go of employees with regards to, what they need for the development of the projects that they're keeping on. So there will be more folks looking for work over the next, it'll be less than 60 days now, because this happened right at the end of E3, which the timing of that's unfortunate, but, best of luck to those folks, and keep an eye out on, social media and stuff like that, because I know usually when this happens, we'll see a flurry of postings from folks looking for work, and, we'll try to retweet as much as we see. But, if you're somebody out there you think we should boost the signal for, let us know. We're happy to. And I'm trying to get as much of the negative news out of the way first, because I'd rather end on a positive note. So I think many of us probably rejoiced when the news came out that Destiny 2, in conjunction with the fact that it would be available on Stadia, that they were going to be doing a cross-save system that would allow you to bring your characters from any other platform that you played and be able to play that in Stadia as well. There was also news that the game would be moving from Battle.net to Steam, and that you would be able to take your character from Battle.net and play on Steam if that was what you chose to do. Now that's all really cool. I like these options. Unfortunately, it sounds like the move from Battle.net to Steam is going to be a one-time thing, and the cross-save information will work basically the same way, I guess, with regards to Stadia. So that means that you'll be able to move your stuff over, but once you move it to that platform, you'll have to play on that platform, which is a little unfortunate, because I had kind of hoped that it was going to be an account that you logged into with everything saved into that account, so that way you could play it on different platforms and switch around, but it doesn't look like that's the case. Now I know for folks who have been paying attention to some of these stories, you'll know that cross-play is not necessarily going to be available anytime soon. It is something that they have considered and that they are thinking about how they're going to do that, but no announcements that that's absolutely happening just yet. And that might be, maybe once we get crossplay, we might get more of a system where there's an account that you log into and you can play on, multiple systems. Because I've got a buddy of mine who's been playing on PS4 who's wanted to come over to PC since he built his PC, but hasn't done it because he has the game and he has his account, all his time sunk into it on PS4. So when the Stadia announcement came out, he was super excited. Unfortunately, and I know there's the move from BattleNet to Steam is available. I'll be keeping an eye out to see if you'll be able to bring your character account from other platforms to Steam as well, because I think that's something that I'll look at doing myself, but because I'm not planning on having like a Stadia membership ongoing, at least not in the near future. So anyway, keep that in mind. And then the other thing about that was, even though people who were playing on Stadia and would be playing on a PC, and you've got your folks on Steam playing on PC, these communities were not being intermingled, which is unfortunate. And I hope that that's something that they can remedy. Even if it's the way that they use to get crossplay to work or something. However they do that, I hope that the Stadia and Steam communities do get merged in the near future. Just because that seems unfortunate that you have folks all playing on PC, but, maybe your buddy picked up Google Stadia and you can't play with him. That just seems lame. Anyway, hopefully that gets fixed in the near future. Fans of No Man's Sky have crowdfunded to put up an ad on a billboard outside the game studio, thanking the developers for all their hard work. Now, this is one of those things that I just think is super cool, and really props to that community and all the folks that were involved in doing that. It may seem like a silly thing to crowdfund money for, but, developers catch so much flack, when they screw up or when there's a miscommunication, expectations are not met, design critique and all that stuff. They get a lot of negativity in this industry. So for the fans to have seen all of and show their appreciation for all of the hard work that the developers on No Man's Sky have been doing, and do it in a way that allows these guys, because these guys coming and going, guys and gals coming and going from the office there, that's going to be something cool that they're going to get to see, and that was the community that did that. So that's awesome. I like that. So Nintendo fans, don't worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging. It looks like the rumors that I can't remember if we mentioned this during E3 or prior to. There was an old report that said there might be 2 new Nintendo Switch models being made and hit the market soon. It looks like there's a little bit more information that leads folks to believe that yes, that is accurate. There was a Wall Street Journal report that Nintendo was shifting some production to Southeast Asia and countries like Taiwan and Vietnam, in anticipation because of the increased tariffs that are coming out towards China. Quoting the article here, according to the report, the factories are producing the current version of the Switch and 2 others, a console that looks similar to the original model of the Switch but with more powerful hardware, and another that is less expensive and sports a distinct look. So, couple of new options possibly for the Nintendo Switch if you don't already have one. We'll have to look and see exactly what that breaks down to with regards to hardware, if it's any better or what the differences are, and see if it's any reason to actually go and pick that up if you already have one. Now, continuing with news on Nintendo related things, one of the things that we got to see with a trailer real briefly during the Nintendo presentation was Zelda's Link's Awakening, and it made it look like you were actually going to be able to rearrange or do something with the dungeons. At least from the initial trailer, I wasn't 100% clear on that, but it looks like this is actually some kind of dungeon creator. So the feature will be able to be accessed, like after you clear dungeons, you'll be able to take certain rooms from those dungeons and use those to create your own dungeon. So it looks like it's more or less you earn rooms by clearing dungeons and then just kind of plop those down in whichever order you want to make your own custom dungeon. It doesn't look like there's any way to customize the specific creatures or encounters within those rooms. That actually it's like a copy paste directly from whatever room you earned out of there. So I guess, for me it was a feature that I don't necessarily need, but I do think that it's cool in there, and as long as you can share those things out, that'll be kind of neat to, potentially to play through some dungeons that folks build on their own with this. It would be really nice, though, if we could actually, customize the traps or the creatures that we encounter through those. But, maybe in a future game we'll see something more like that. And then these last topics I'm going to run through real quick. First up is Enter the Gungeon is free on the Epic Store. So it's a top-down, almost in some ways a kind of a bullet hell type adventure game. In some ways it reminds me a little bit of the old, not the newer ones, but the old Gauntlet games. And then, of course, fresh off E3 and what are they calling it? The Keanu-sans? Like a Keanu Renaissance? I couldn't leave until I touched on this topic because I just think that this is awesome. So at this point, we all know Keanu Reeves is playing Johnny Silverhand, which is a famous rocker boy within the Cyberpunk world. And one thing I learned from this is apparently Keanu Reeves can actually sing as well. Now the question is, does he sing in the game? That was a direct question that was asked to the developers. And the answer is they won't say. So, you're going to have to wait and find out. But you might be thinking, oh, well, I've only seen Keanu Reeves in, a variety of movies, either, action or sci-fi and, some drama and whatnot. Can he actually sing? Well, what's funny? This was something I was unaware of until I started doing my research today, but apparently he was in a band called Dogstar. Now they've gone by other names until they finally settled on Dogstar. But this particular band was like an alternative rock style band, and I guess they started, I think it was like the mid-90s is what I was reading. So I'll put a link, I'll make sure that there's a link in there, and you can check out like the YouTube video that's got some of their music on it. To me, it was just, this was one of those cool things, like I didn't know that he could sing. He also played, I think it was guitar. And so in the band itself, he'd play guitar and was backup vocals, but there were a couple times, or at least a couple of songs, where he would take the front position and he would sing, and it's not bad. So that's cool. I just think that's really cool. But speaking of Cyberpunk, if you have not already picked up the package that's on sale for pre-ordering Cyberpunk 2077, that comes with, I think it's like 5 different Witcher games. It's Witchers 1, 2, and 3. I think 1 and 2 are enhanced editions. I don't remember if the third one is or not. But then there's also 2 other games that have sprung out of the Witcher universe that are included. The entire package is less than $88. This sale will end today. It was as 2 or 3 p.m. I'd say 2 p.m. just to be safe. But it will end today. So if you haven't already picked it up, if you've been waiting for any reason, this may be your last chance to get that package. For myself, it was never a question. I was always going to get Cyberpunk. So this is one of those few games that I don't mind if it's a type of game that you're interested in playing, if you're at all excited about it. Between the developer themselves, CD Projekt Red, and the value that I think you get with the rest of these games, $88 for all these games is an amazing buy in my mind. So you can get that at GOG.com. We'll have a link directly to that collection. They're calling it the Simply Red CD Projekt Red collection. And lastly, before I get out of here, I don't know if you've already aware of or heard of the merger with ThinkGeek and GameStop, where basically ThinkGeek is going to be shutting down their stores and web presence, moving all of their stuff over to GameStop's website and inside the GameStop stores themselves as part of the other collectible stuff that they'll have available. I know some of their stuff has been seen in GameStop stores before. I've seen a few things here and there, but it looks like now this is the end of ThinkGeek as we know it, and more or less getting folded into GameStop, and I'm guessing an attempt for GameStop to stay alive. So they have this massive store. It's 50% off site-wide. Go see what you can find, because there's a lot of things that are now missing from the store. You search different categories and you may have a blank page, because I'm assuming those things are either sold out or they just moved them wholesale over to GameStop for later. And there are still a lot of things, there's still quite a bit on sale there, but I am running into an issue where I wish I could just kind of, if there's an option there, I've missed it, but I would like to be able to just blank out everything that's out of stock, because a lot of times I'll search through different categories and it's like, I swear, 90% of the stuff or more is listed as out of stock already. So don't waste any time. If there's something you've been thinking about at ThinkGeek, or you just want to go browse and see what you can find, the code there, the promo code to use is called Moving Day. It is for a limited time, but it's supposed to be 50% off. And I'm assuming that 50% off, if something is already on sale, you may actually be able to use it on the sale price, but you might not. Either way, 50% off is a pretty good sale. So go see what you can find. Thanks for sticking with me. Hope I didn't bore you to death too bad with the newsy bits. And enjoy the rest of your week. Come back on Wednesday because TJ and I will be back. Mostly TJ, of course, because he is the master of comic knowledge. He is our walking, living, breathing encyclopedia of comic knowledge. And we'll be back on this Wednesday with Comic Shop Talk. Till then, this is Drac, and I'm out.